So-called attachments have always been around, where humans have other dimensional beings attached to their body. It's actually much more common than we think. People hear voices in their heads that are not their own thoughts, and they wonder, who is saying that? It's a complex matter, because people get so used to these voices and thoughts, and they know too little about themselves to be able to clearly distinguish which voices are their own, and which are not. It's quite easy with a little training. However, first of all, the thoughts you hear in your head, are these thoughts that you believe you would think? If the thought process seems foreign to you, is distractive, repetitive, or changing your personality, there is a problem. You can have either one of the unquite dead, hitchhikers, or in worst cases demons or a mix thereof, attached to you. In rare cases, it could be an alien who's intentionally glued his soul to your body. It's important to listen to the voices and thoughts in your head, because most of them are probably not yours. Another option is that you are actually becoming psychic and can read other people or animal thoughts. Do you recognize the thoughts as a friend of yours, your spouse, relative, even your dog, wanting attention or food? Work on being psychic and to distinguish yourself from your environment. If you once have gotten attachments, benevolent or not, they may be difficult to get rid of, unless you're very firm and your intentions are clear. Once you raise your vibrations, the entities normally leave, because they can't hold the same frequency as yourself. But if they still stick to you, you'd better tell them to leave. You need to be quite assertive and authoritarian, but not hostile. Tell them, I know you're there, and whatever agreement we had that allowed you to place yourself there is now void. Thank you for giving me the learning lesson on how it is to have someone attached to you. But now the lesson is learned. I want you to go someplace where you can be around people who love you. If you think there is no such place, you should know there are always people who love you. I want you to live now and then think of where you can find such a place. Or just go back from where you came. I don't want you to ever come into my space again. This body is mine and I own it. If you want a body, you need to learn how to get one of your own. This same message is for any entity that may be attached to me or my body. Of course, the wording may be of your choice, but the example above would probably work pretty well. You may hear these voices coming up with reasons why they don't want to leave, or why they shouldn't leave. But you need to be firm and tell them, what I just said goes. No delays. No buts. I want you to live in this instance. No. That's not a reason to stay either. It's final. And there are no excuses. You may have to repeat your will a few times when you hear the excuses in your head. And whatever you do, don't confuse these excuses as your own thoughts. If the entity doesn't leave immediately, or there may be many entities, sometimes a couple of hundreds or more, if the person has all their chakras wide open for anyone to come in, repeat the procedure as soon as you notice an attachment. Some of them may go silent to try and trick you by your not noticing them. But sooner or later, they will make their presence heard. Or you can add, those who are silent and try to hide need to live as live right now. When they no longer can find any agreement from you to stay, they usually leave. I hope this helps. And it needs to be done. Because about 11 people out of 15 may have attachments. And remember, raise your vibration. The attachments do whatever they can to still keep attached. But sooner or later, they will fall off. When they do, or in the meantime, make sure you are not wide open for new attachments to come in. Claim your space and your sovereignty. Also, create the bubble around yourself and say that no one is allowed inside this bubble, unless they are consciously invited, without being manipulative, and only have the greatest good in mind for you and your loved ones. You may want to recreate this bubble every now and then, but with time you'll get good at it, and you feel that now it's there, and it's working. When you have cleared your energy field from entities, you will feel an unusual silence in your head. No voices, No additional thoughts which are not your own. Except maybe if you'll get very psychic. Now when you don't have your own energy field being messed with, you may hear thoughts from a loved one, knowing it is them by the signature of the thought. If thoughts from others come into your energy field too frequently, it may feel disturbing and exhausting. Understanding it can drain your energy. What you can do is to think of the thoughts coming in as water running or dripping from a faucet in your mind. Turn off the faucet and turn it on when you want to. But again, beware of attachments. Keep your energy field clear and your bubble in place. And only invite certain people to begin with, until you get very skilled. When your energy field is clear, it's time to get rid of residues in the house or apartment where you live. Go and buy some sage in the local New Age store. Some local grocery stores may have them. 2. I've noticed and start smudging the house. Incense works well. 2. These two things will cleanse the place until there are no attachments. You may want to smudge both your body and your home to be sure. In my case, when writing on these subjects, it's easy to get attachments and psychic attacks. So these procedures are very helpful. Serious conspiracy writers and exopolitical and metaphysical writers can gain a lot from using these techniques. Having incense burning near you when you write is an easy way to get into the right mood and tune into the vibrations needed to be able to write on a certain spiritual level. Everything changes when you stop absorbing all the energies around you and start emitting your own. Some people, when they have raised their frequency to a certain level, say that it's hard, because they feel everybody else's emotions and energies. And therefore, going into a grocery store for an extended time can be challenging. Having this kind of problem is an indicator that your frequency is higher than it used to be. Or if you were born with this problem, you were either born with attachments, or you were quite evolved even as a little child, or both. It's good to become psychic, but in the above case, it can be a handicap. 2. Hence, it's very important to clear your own energy field as described here. And when you successfully have done so, you will notice the problem is more or less gone. You may still pick up some just because you're psychic and more multi-D, and you are starting to get telepathic. But that's where the bubble comes into the picture. Also, when you stop absorbing other people's energy, which will quickly drain you unless those around you are of exceptionally high vibrations, you will quite automatically start emitting your own energy. This will make you feel good and more powerful. Although not in a negative way, your self-esteem will increase, your space widen, and you will be more outgoing. All good traits.